Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, let's go over Tesla. Let's see what we have in store for us for the rest of this week. Of course, being a shorter week, we only have 3 days left in this trading week itself. So let's just see what we can expect for the remainder of it. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So if you guys enjoy, find this video useful, helpful, informative, whatever, please don't forget to hit that like button. But let's just get this party started. So Tesla ending the day actually up on a pretty bloody day, about 1.6%, putting us at $274 and nice rounded 50 cents as well, which is pretty nice to see. So pretty much exactly what I called yesterday. Oh, not yesterday, I guess Friday. This will be a bear trap, and it clearly was. I mean, today was an even bigger bear trap, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll show you one part where I don't know what's happening in this market, but man, I really think they got a lot of people with it. Thankfully, I don't have any stops in place for my short-term trades, or else I would have got stopped out as well right before it rallied. So I'll show you guys that as well. But nonetheless, a decent-looking candle. Really would have been nicer to finish a little bit higher, similar to this. This would have been a beautiful way to finish it off. But ultimately, we can see that there is in this range right here, right from like 270 to like 267, roughly like this area right here. We can see there is quite a decent amount of demand, right? So that is something to definitely keep in mind. And overall, like I said, I did feel like this would be a bear trap, and it clearly was. And, I'm still personally not going to be too surprised if we do get a little bit of a rally here, potentially. The SPY, thankfully, ending just above $390, which is great. This was a pretty, important level and pivot area. It did kind of still fall below this little kind of, the red line over here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Not what you want to see ideally. But, there is still technically, there is still hope. Let's just say that. At least for a short-term bounce is what I'm still expecting, right? Ultimately, I'm still, of course, net bearish. I still think we are ultimately going lower the second half of September. But the first half of September, which I've showed you guys several times, especially showing, given that chart that I showed you guys, the red line, right? The second year, a new Democratic president, of course, Joe Biden. It does also suggest that the first half of September is, kind of sideways, maybe a little bit of bullishness, a little bit of green, like a dead cat, for instance. And then we pretty much just get a pretty big sell-off somewhere around the second half of September. Ish, right? So that's something else to keep in mind. So again, ultimately, a fairly decent looking candle could have been a little bit more, cleaner. Again, more like similar to this. So this one obviously had really awkward follow through, but nonetheless, still showing beautiful buying pressure, still looking fairly bullish, still looking like we want to potentially get a nice little rally. The first target easily is going to be $280. If we break that, I think we can easily come up to 285. And ultimately, if we break that, I still wouldn't be too shocked or surprised if sometime, maybe even this week, in all honesty, we come up to $290. Now, will we? I mean, it's hard to say for sure. That will be about a 5% move, which isn't even that crazy, to be completely honest with you. Like, it's not a wild move for Tesla, right? That feels like a normal day sometimes. So that's not really too shocking. However, the thing on the daily that you want to pay attention to, as usual, is going to be this RSI that's still just consistently looking more and more bearish, right? Keep in mind how it is essentially setting a lower low over here yesterday on this red, even though technically it didn't go over a lower, though this I'm pretty sure determines the closing, not the actual, the way it moves. It determines where it closes. So that kind of makes sense, I guess, since we technically closed lower than this. But nonetheless, like the overall, trajectory of the RSI, just a massive bearish divergence, guys. It's still just looking net overall quite bearish. So that's something definitely to keep in mind that you want to be really careful about. Moving over to the major kind of, averages and whatnot that we want to take a look at. Indicators, we have the 21 EMA still well below that. Again, wouldn't be surprised if we come up to roughly where it is right now, around 285. Probably test that, probably get rejected. Still bouncing off the red line on the Bollinger Band. Also wouldn't be surprised if we come up somewhere to the white line, maybe end of this week. Honestly, wouldn't be too shocking, which by the time we get there, it'll probably meet us somewhere around this, like, red line being around 290, 288, somewhere, give or take a few points in that general range. Still bouncing off the 50-day moving average, still holding that general area. 200 is still well below that. Wouldn't even think about it. We did get rejected, however, by the 5-day moving average, though again, this is an extremely short-term moving average. I don't put too much weight into it, but the 10 is a little bit more, which is the kind of a teal one, is something we could put a little bit more weight on, which I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we rally up to a get rejected, bounce off back to like 280, and then rally one more time up to like maybe this red line, being around this 290, 288, somewhere in that general level. So essentially, I wouldn't be surprised if the moves that we have, maybe for the remainder of the week, I'm looking for this thing right here, would be something like this. And then ultimately fall lower. Something like that. That wouldn't be too shocking. Obviously, that's just a guess. But, something along the lines of that wouldn't be too, I guess, shocking or surprising for me. Which, if that were to happen, to me, in my opinion, would put the SPY somewhere around it's kind of like potentially like 405, best case scenario, 410 level. That would be like the best case. I don't think we'll maybe even go to 410. We might, but at the moment for the SPY at least, I would probably be aiming for somewhere around this kind of like 405-ish level before, you know, we probably get smacked down substantially harder, because the market is also showing some pretty bearish looking RSI, pretty bearish looking divergence. You know, and it's just not looking great. Like, I'll be completely honest, guys, it's just not looking that fantastic. Taking a quick look at the VIX, you can see it did come down all the way here, bounced off this whole like massive area of support, massive area of supply, or rather, sorry, demand. Massive rally back up, and of course we're still kind of, you know, in this general vicinity, which I still wouldn't be surprised if it goes sideways, potentially comes down one more time to like 24.5 roughly, before ultimately making its way to the upper end of this little kind of, you know, wedge, if you will, that we are in, being the top of this red line, which would put us somewhere around, you know, 30-ish, maybe get a little drawdown. So something like this for the VIX, right, which would coincide roughly with what I see happening to the indexes in the market, Tesla, etc. Be something like this, you know, somewhere kind of get, you know, around this area, and then probably ultimately get a nice rally as the market really starts to fall, probably like the second half-ish of September, probably get a bit of a relief rally from the market, come back to this area, and then probably break up to the north side, and then, you know, somewhere go somewhere up there. Like, that's just like a general rough example of what I wouldn't be surprised to see for the VIX as well, right? Again, these are just projections. These are just, you know, very, you know, rough guesses, if you will. But taking a look at, let's say, the 1 hour in this case, right? I did enter another bullish position. So essentially, if you're curious what I did, again, none of this is financial advice, but what I did personally was, as the market opened this morning, I closed out one of my sold puts, you know, one of my bullish positions. I closed it to de-risk just in case. Thankfully, I did that. I pretty much did it as the market opened around, I think it was around what price did the market open again today? I completely forgot. I think we were somewhere around here, right? Yeah, so I did it somewhere around here, around this like 272-ish area. And then the market fell down. I sold another put right here, the one that I closed here. I essentially resold it here, just a little bit of a safer strike. And then as the market came down all the way here, I day traded 40 shares actually, and then I sold it somewhere up here, made about $100. You know, again, I'm not being too risky. You know, I'll take my 100. I'll walk away. I also have other positions. I also did a long-term call sell because I did exercise 100 shares of Tesla, average price of 285. But I did sell a long-term call for October. I think it was like 21st or something like that, like the final Friday of October that, you know, the market trades in. I did sell a long-term call for that as well. So we'll see how that, you know, goes. We'll see what happens with that. But that's kind of my current position. I'm still overall net bullish. Short-term, I just want to make that very clear. Short-term, very, very short-term, like literally maybe even just this week, maybe next week, but not much longer than that. And then especially the second half of September, I am ultimately quite bearish. But looking back to the 1 hour chart, you can see, right, as Tesla essentially made a double bottom, which was essentially what I was expecting, hence my day trade where I entered shares over here, 40 shares. It did make a double bottom while also making a higher low on the RSI on the 1 hour, which to me signified that we are most likely in for a little bit of a rally. And, you know, we'll see where that takes us. You can see the RSI also almost made a higher high than here, even though the share price obviously is substantially lower than all the way up here. So that is something else to consider as well. Where, you know, short term it's looking a little bit more bullish than bearish in my opinion. Again, it could be very wrong, but that's kind of what I'm currently seeing, which is why I'm still holding those 3 sold puts that I have. And we'll see where that takes us, right? We'll see where that takes us. Again, you know, if I'm forced to buy, then I just sell very long duration calls. I'm not too worried about that whatsoever. And, you know, I'm still going to have substantially more cash than I am going to have, you know, in the market itself, ready to buy if and I guess when we fall even lower. So that's essentially what I'm currently seeing, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to add that I haven't already added before. Again, the ultimate trajectory, guys, is going to be still down, straight up. Just, you know, we're going to be still moving downwards overall. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, we get a little bit of a short-term rally. Again, the key levels being 280, 285, and then pretty much 290. Those are the 3 levels. If you break one and, you know, hold above it, then, you know, the next level, then, you know, and so on and so forth, right? That's just how it works. It's very simple, in my opinion, at least, right? So again, the first major level, maybe for tomorrow even, I would look out for is $280, and you'd want to break that. And you'd want to hold that, maybe even 282 to be safe. Somewhere around that level, you want to break above pretty much this right here and then hold above that. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Let me know what you guys think down below. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a short-term rally into a pretty, you know, in theory, massive sell-off the second half of September. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.